Hello and welcome to the Duo Esports Cast. It's me here, Voslo, being your play-by-play caster, and joined with me is our color caster of the first game, Warhood.
Hello everyone and welcome to a wonderful Sunday, a very hot day. I hope you guys are all staying cool. I am John Warhood, the head caster here, and I will be your color guy today. With me, as well as he already introduced himself, is Voslo, the play-by-play announcer today. Voslo, are you looking forward to today's games?
Yes, absolutely. It'll be lots and lots of fun. It'll be fantastic.
What are you looking forward to today most? Havoc, this is I guess this is going to be the end of their second week in the league officially. What, though, are you looking for to see out of them coming out of their, last games of the week?
Well, I want to see Core play something that's not Anivia. I want to see something like that, and I also want to see if Yasuo will play something other than Ezreal, or if they're putting such a high priority pick onto it because it's something he's comfortable with. We do have Ramenberry in today. I believe this is actually their first stream game where they actually get to have Ramenberry, their starting position jungler, and that's pretty exciting to see. He's got a very good, he's got a small champion pool, but really, really good duelist junglers is what he really prefers to play, and it's something I really expect him to play, and that'll be great fun to watch.
Definitely will be something amazing to watch today. Finally, we get to see Havoc at their full strength as we make our way into Champ Select. So we are looking here at the first bans. Is there anything you would believe that we should ban away right now?
Right now, it's going to be nothing because Kiss absolutely lost their first ban. Wheeler Walker 3 is an E-sub that they had to get, and it's a shame on that, and that Kiss will not be playing at their full strength today. But they will be fine, I'm pretty sure, and at this point in time, I do expect an Anivia ban, hopefully, anyways. And then we do have a Renekton first ban against Wheeler Walkers.
I've always been of the opinion if there is a single E-sub, right? We've had a couple issues where there's been like 5 E-subs in the game, and then they're just like sitting there going like, I don't know what to ban. If you have an E-sub in, you just ban away everything that the E-sub likes to play. You put them on something uncomfortable, and then you usually play through that side of the lane.
We did also have a Talia ban and a Lissandra ban. Very interesting bans, I think. I think it's very important. I play support, wanting to get a comfortable lane position, not really wanting to deal with a Renekton in the lane. It's such a big lane bully. And we do also see a Ryze ban and a Thresh ban. Selmy showing that he had great prowess on that champion yesterday, was able to mad life the mid laner of Nottingham's yesterday, and it was pretty fantastic to see. I had to give him great props to that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did not get an option to CD games because of my internship, but this is definitely something we will be looking forward to. Mundo, the first pick. I think Mundo, for a guy who, at least what we saw, was in the bronze level of the bronze, silver, gold, something a little bit, not brain dead, but something that you can make mistakes on and get recovery on. And then speaking of those types of champions, a Garen locked in as well, followed up.
I saw the Renekton ban and figured that it was going to be a Garen top lane. I had a pretty big assumption. I play support's been playing a ton of it. He really enjoys the champion. And I have to question the Mundo first pick. Sure, Wheeler Walker really wants to get something that he's comfortable with, and that I understand, but you pick it before the jungle pool's been picked, and Ramenberry plays Trundle.
Yeah, Trundle, in my opinion, as I've always said, for this league is going to be the most powerful jungle they have in terms of this sort of thing. The ability to remove tanks from the game, I do think I put a high priority in the tank ability that Low Elo has. I think it was when I was first learning the game, Trick2G would always say, you want to play some champion tanky, because the more tanks you have on your team, the more ability it takes longer for you to die, the more you can mash your buttons, the more you can mash your buttons, the more damage you can do. Katarina, speaking of master buttons as well, is locked in.
And in Evelyn, this is really interesting to see. So far, this Champions Select is looking a lot more spicy than I imagined. Core not even opting to play his Anivia, picks Kassadin here into the Katarina, really liking his chances in this lane. Doesn't want to pick Anivia into the Katarina. Interesting.
Kassadin, I do think, even though I've always been very open about this, I do not know mid lane matchups well. Kassadin, I think, is a pretty good counter pick into Katarina, because Kassadin, the moment Katarina jumps into you, mispositions herself to get a trade off on you, you can just silence and then beat them down promptly.
Yes, I really like the cast and counter pick into a Katarina. Able to completely stop the death loads of Katarina with the Q, just completely stops it because it's the mini silence, stops the channel. Fantastic thing to see. And also, if at any point in time Katarina goes for an aggressive trade, she pretty much is forced to max E in that lane to try and get AD damage on the trades because of Kassadin. Or if Katarina maxes Q, Kassadin just maxes his Q and gets the magic shield and just doesn't take damage during trades. And we see a bunch of support pinches going on, and the Ezreal pinch from Yeso. Ooh, interesting. What will Yeso pick now?
Yeso, I expect to probably pick something big. Interesting, they have, like, all the left that is left are the bot lane players. Get to ban out the 3 supports there. Force Selmy to probably pick something he is uncomfortable with. Caitlyn, always a safe AD carry to pick. Not the top of the meta right now, but definitely one of the most effective at pushing turrets, I would say, at this point in time.
Absolutely, and it's a very safe lane pick. Maybe Yeso not feeling as comfortable not knowing anything about the bot lane that he's playing against. Getting that pick that is really safe, able to do good damage while being as safe as possible is really good to see. And we do see Lucian counterpicked inside of the bot lane for name not found. And a Rakan too, that is great engagement. So this will be good fun to see. There's a really decent front line for the side of Kiss Gaming, and a Rakan able to get priority engages for his team, especially with all that charm going on. Katarina is able to go in very easily and get a good Death Lotus down, but we do immediately have a Morgana counterpick against the Rakan.
This very strong pickup there. Morgana getting the ability with Black Shield to basically stop any sort of engage they're going to have in lane, and then outside of lane as well, soak up a little bit of the damage or any little bit of mispositioning done by Yeso or Garen with the Black Shield, preventing Evelynn from getting her taunt off, preventing Rakan from getting her stun off. Hopefully we can see that played well coming in as we load into Champ Select.
Yes, absolutely. I like the draft from Kiss here. I think it has a decent front line. They have a lot of magic damage coming out, which means that they'll have to prioritize the magic resist, which means that Lucian will be able to get lots of good damage and will not have to prioritize a Black Cleaver into a second item. Could probably go Bork and Essence Reaver early, and that'll be really good into a Garen and Trundle, and I like that. I do have to question a little bit of Havoc composition. They don't really have a lot of hard, reliable CC. They pretty much have Trundle Pillar. The traps are unreliable, and then Morgana Binding is also really hard to land consistently.
Yeah, it definitely is. There's a little bit of a CC issue coming forth from them. You're going to probably run into that. I actually do think that Havoc has a great 1-3-1 comp right now, with Garen being able to split push efficiently and Kassadin being able to split push efficiently, especially towards the late game. And then when I look over to Lobster Gang Esports side, I do not think that they have much to really answer to both lanes there, because if you answer the you have to answer the Garen, right, with the Mundo. And then looking forward, you're questioning where you're going to leave. You're going to either have to split between either leaving an Evelynn onto the Kassadin or a Katarina onto the Kassadin, both not having great lane wave, but that's assuming that Havoc can get out of the early game and out of the early lane pressure that Evelynn is going to lead onto them, because I expect to see Evelynn playing around with Katarina a lot and getting a lot of early game focus down onto the Kassadin, who doesn't really have the best escape maneuverability early pre-level 6, and then even after that level 6, even though he does get a lot more fishy to catch, he is in a position where he is going to have to spend a lot of mana to escape.
Yes, absolutely. It will cost him a lot of mana, but I really like the fact that a lot of Havoc was able to get good counter picks going, and that's always very good in a league like this, being able to get your counter picks and be able to outduel your laner and getting out of lanes ahead. The Kassadin will be feeling very comfortable if he's able to not die early game to the Katarina, and he will then be able to scale, and then as the levels continue to grow, especially on the Kassadin, will just be an absolute monster in the late game, and that is really something that'll be exciting to see, as really the only person that's tanky on Kiss's side is the Mundo.
Yeah, definitely something that we can see. Mundo, though, being, of course, a great tank in general, can gain back so much health. It's almost ridiculous how much health he can gain back with the masochism. Can we see coming forward an ability for them to actually be able to just not kill him at a point, though? You have Garen, who can deal true damage. Trundle's going to make him inefficient. And then Yeso, if he gets an Avarice Break, can sort of deal Grievous runes onto him to make it so he cannot actually do much.
Yes, absolutely. It'll be very hard to for him to deal with the grievous wounds, especially as the game will start to scale. I mean, once he gets to late game, he won't really care too much. He'll just be able to heal through it, especially once he gets the Spirit Visage, which he'll probably want in this game, because there's going to be the Morgana damage, the Cassidy damage, and if he's not the villain, the Garen's ultimate will do magic damage, the Subjugate will do magic damage. It's something that he has to be very careful of.
Yeah, it is definitely something they have to be careful of. As we end the Spectator's delay, we are now in a position that we are going to see what their runes or masteries on. Are you expecting anything funky coming out of this?
Not really. I expect to see Electrocute on the Evelynn and the Katarina, Grasp on both top laners. Maybe we'll see Conqueror from Garen, but I doubt it. Trundle will just go probably press the attack. Mid laner Cassidy. Cassidy is interesting. You can go Grasp in that lane if you're feeling very comfortable. Comet works out fine. Fleet is also okay because you have decent AP scaling on that, and it's not terrible on an AP champion. I'm pretty surprised. I would have liked to have seen Grasp on the Cassin, as it's really, really good into another melee matchup, because you're able to get good. You're going to want to get your W to get your mana back and stuff like that, and you're able to get good Undying Grasp procs with your W. It'll be very, very good. You'll get extra HP going into the late game, and he really, really likes things in the Resolve tree anyways. Yeah, nothing really that's strange, except for the Lucian has Electrocute.
Electrocute looking for that early lane, I guess, trades and pressure. I do not know. I know that's not normally what you take. You normally take Fleet of Footwork. I guess you're assuming that if with Electrocute, if you can dodge those bindings, you could get a lot of extra damage off coming out.
It'll be pretty good in the early game. It's something that I would like to see. I'm assuming they really want to exert lane dominance level 1 to 2, especially with the Rakan and Lucian.
Yeah, definitely something you want to see coming out. As we are now into the game, I'm expecting Havoc to poke a little bit with the Morgana binding, see if you could get, a cheap summoner off coming out here. But it looks like as of right now they have 2 AFKs, and it wouldn't be Duo Esports if we did not have a pause.
Absolutely. There's never a game without that sort of thing. But it does make sense. It looks like, I was about to say Cora's having a little bit of issues. Still kind of a little bit AFK. Hasn't bought items yet. I'm sure he's going to load and he'll be completely fine. We do, however, have something that's pretty interesting, and I actually agree with this pick highly, is that Katarina started with a longsword.
Yeah, I mean, Katarina should be able to basically have a fresh trade coming in and out. She doesn't lose. I don't think she loses this matchup 3-6 hard enough that it requires a shield or requires a Doran's, Doran's anything, or pots. She should be able to sustain this because Cassidy's early game is just as weak as her own.
Absolutely. Katarina also has a very good level 2 spike, especially when she has her Q and her E and the ability to use her daggers. Her E doing physical damage will be very, very good and has a good AD scaling on it. And it's something that I expect to be exploited in this mid lane, especially against Cassidy, who is very weak against AD damage.
Yep. And as we see now, what looks like to be standard 5 points, I think because of the DC early in the game, we shouldn't see much more out of that from the invade. Maybe if you want to be opportunistic, Lobster Gaming could have realized that because of the DC, they could have made an invade, got a couple deep order down, but it looks like they decided not to do it.
Also, Kiss Gaming, by the way, absolute accident, but we don't see iPlay support, just finding out Mundo right in the beginning, his bone plating getting proc, just kind of playing with his kitty in the river. He's got a little laser pointer on his sword. That's absolutely amazing. I haven't seen that yet. That's fantastic.
Well, this is probably the most interesting skin they have in the game right now. As we, come on, iPlay support. I was going to talk about the dance that Don loves so much.
Yeah, playing with the kitty. It's an absolute hilarious dance. I do like that skin. I do think God King Darius is. I like the animations on the ability effects a lot better on that skin. But this skin, the emos on that one are fantastic.
Certainly is, and there we get to see a little bit of that dance as we get a standard start for the game. Nothing much special. Trundle starting. Red side gonna reverse mirror the Evelynn, which means maybe, just maybe, we could see an early level 3 gank from, or level 2 gank from the Trundle.
And that's something that we might be able to see, or he's probably, knowing Ramanberry, I feel like he's going to go right into the Evelynn's jungle if he can. He did get spotted by that ward, but I don't think Mundo saw it. Ramanberry walking right up to him. He's going to have the level 2, does have red buff, does have W, does have Q, doesn't have E, but he will just be able to kite him out. Wheeler Walker just, I think, dies here, and it is a first blood to Ramanberry with a great level 2 cheese gank. It works out great in his favor, and with that, we'll have a good level and experience lead on Evelynn, and might be able to get some counter juggling going, but he is spotted by a ward.
Yeah. Probably a little bit of nerves coming out from Wheeler Walker 3. First game at Duo Esports I think he's ever played. Definitely a bit of an issue there. He needs to. The only big critique I would have of that, because that unfortunately happens when you get cheese, gotta watch the not burn your flash there.
Absolutely, just realizing that you are dead. Save your flash. He did, however, save his teleport, which I really, really appreciate, because iPlay Support was not able to fully push the lane into his tower. And that was really, really good on him to realize that he didn't have to use his teleport to come back to the lane. He could still save it for another time, play a lot safer in the lane now, and then just, if he takes some bad trades, he can always back and then just TP back in, and it'll be very, very good for him.
Yeah, definitely showing a little bit more presence than he knows how this lane matchup goes. On the backside of that, Core had to burn his flash from an Evelyn gank. Nothing more really coming of that, and that's one of the issues right now early game. Very little kill pressure for either side on that mid lane.
Yes, absolutely. But in the bot lane, though, it looks like Kiss's bot lane is abusing Havoc's bot lane. Yeso being very, very low. It looks like Puck did use her Ignite early on. I'm assuming there was an aggressive trade onto her and maybe thought that they could get something, but to get the Ignite down, it's not looking pretty happy for Yeso. Yeso's a little bit low on the HP pool right now.
Yeah, certainly we're looking forward to all of this. Trundle making a play. Evelyn just finishing up her clear.
Selmy just getting out of there. His grand entrance just like later came. I don't particularly care anymore. It's very hard to gank a recon anyways with the Trundle. You can only hope to Trundle pillar him out of the grand entrance, but it doesn't really get much for you. Because he can always then just use his Battle Dance to just go get away by using the Lucian as an escape mechanism.
Yep. Definitely a bit of another one.
I don't think we see any. Oh, they do get the charm down. Dazran and Kono do go aggressive, and Kono is able to get that kill. Does not pay for it with his life, getting the Ignite down as well. Just going super aggressive. Dazran taking a tower shot for him. Does walk out, and the Shunpo and the preparation just doing so much damage to Core with those daggers.
Yeah. Another regank there over and over again. I guess what you're going to have to hope for Kiss Gaming is the fact that Kiss is going to be able to continually get pressure on the mid lane. Out of all these lanes, probably Kiss having, even though I don't think Kono has the best kill potential pre-6, Kiss is going to be able to get these ganks and reganks now that Core has no flash down. He has no escape if he gets shoved in.
Absolutely. He is almost level 6 though, which is going to be pretty good for him. He is a quarter of the way to level 6, so he's still got a little bit of ways to go. We might see a repeat gank there from Dazran if he wanted to get Kono ahead. But I don't expect too much of that coming out just yet. And, it looks like Katarina bought a Fiendish Codex. What do you think about that in her first back?
Fiendish Codex, I would assume she's building towards Hextech Blade? Right?
I think she really wants a Hexagon Blade, but maybe feeling like she might want to get an early Banshee's Veil, or just wanting the early CDR is my guess.
Yeah, oh, a lot of... Yeah.
Bot lane, not liking these trades right now.
Trundle.
Name Not Found flashing over the binding, does get the piercing right onto Puckulence as he flashes over, doesn't get the damage down to get the auto attacks on the Puckulence, as Puck was able to flash before the auto attacks came through. Very good on her to get that. That was a really good flash by Name Not Found to flash over the binding, but did have to blow heal to escape as he almost paid it for it with his life.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of greed there from Name Not Found. They had a great trade in bot lane on the level 4 spike, and they were left with a little bit of wanting to kill, both champions escaping with under 100 health. I guess that just shows how strong Lucian is at this point in time. But unfortunately, Name Not Found greeting burns both his summoners. Trundle being aggressive on all these ganks, you wonder if that's going to come back and haunt them later in the game.
I play support going aggressive onto Mundo. There is a Dazran here. Does have the charm ready and available. Didn't have his W prepared. Onto I play support, and he is getting chased down by Dazran. Does he get away? He might just at this point in time. Ramenberry is here. Does go back. Does get the silence down. Doesn't have any more damage at this point in time. Does have his Demacian Justice, but doesn't opt to use it just yet. Ramenberry is able to keep him alive though.
Now, I just need to point out right now, with the Phoenix Codex, both mid and mids for both teams, in fact, are very level 6, and this lane's going to probably turn into a bloodbath very soon.
I don't know if it'll turn into a bloodbath or other lanes are going to turn into a bloodbath. Both have high
right.
potential champions. As we see, I play support getting ganked by the Katarina again. Does Hour manage to activate a W? Gets the silence down. Does spin away. Does the Beyblade save his life? He does not. Kono able to use the Shunpo onto the Garen. Maybe gets away. I don't think he does. Core looking to play aggressive. Does get the damage down with the Nether Blade. Oof, that feels really, really good for Core, and Kono having that extra kill onto I play support gives the Mundo some free laning presence. Still a little bit low on HP. Core still feeling a little aggressively to have I play support teleporting behind this Mundo. Mundo only level 6, still has his ultimate though, has sadism. Does he use it? He does use it. I don't know if he can get out of this right now. I play support just tanking on Debasian Justice and walked out with the BM. I play support. That's not very nice. Dancing kitties all the side. And we do have another aggressive trade in the bot lane. Yeso not liking this, does get the double shot onto him and does get a kill onto Name Not Found. A good relentless pursuit able to follow up, and the Black Shield not able to do too much for Yeso in this lane right now.
I don't know if Puck used the Black Shield earlier on a trade. We didn't see while all that nonsense was going on top lane, but because of if she was on cooldown, she didn't get an opportunity to Black Shield the initial engage by Selmy, which ultimately cost Yeso his life.
Yes, absolutely. I'm pretty sure she used it just a tad bit too late. It looked like the Black Shield was still on right when I tuned in, so I'm assuming that Selmy was not able to break the Black Shield and was just in fact used a little late. So that's really, really sad on that part, but it's really, really good for the bot lane of Kiss, and we're actually seeing some light from this team, and something I'm super excited to see.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and now Rakan and Name Not Found in a prime position to continue to carry. It looks like Lucian is rushing the Bork. Blade of the Rune Key being one of the least expensive 80 carry items, and also very important to Lucian's kit. Lucian should be able to continue to snowball that lead now that he has gotten it.
Absolutely, it'll be very, very good for him, especially considering the lanes that are getting strong on Havoc's side are the top side of the map. Core opting to go Catalyst second, so he'll have a good amount of HP. I play support with Grasp and building a Black Cleaver. It looks like will also have a high amount of HP. And Ramenberry is just Trundle, so he's going to have a high amount of HP as well with the Cinderhulk. And we do have a play going on in the mid lane. There is a gank going on onto Core. He does get away. Doesn't really care too much. Rift Walk and Flash used to keep him alive. Kono opting to use the broken stopwatch as Core did go aggressive. I do, however, have a question for you.
Yes.
The Kono is maxing his Q despite the fact that Core does have this, what is that ability? I totally know the name. Null Sphere.
Null Sphere, yeah.
So he's opted to max the Q despite opting to start the longsword.
Yes. So what I am assuming here, looking at what Kono is building in general, he is looking to get the early, what do you call it, Zonius, right? The Phoenix Codex, the broken stopwatch now, and then the two longswords. Because of this, my opinion is, as we have a gank coming in.
It was a gank on both sides of the map. Dazaran does have to go through a pink ward, doesn't get too much going up, but we do have Ramenberry getting a good pillar to deny. Name Not Found. Name Not Found did fall to Pucculence. Feeling really good for this bot lane to get something back.
And with Evelyn on the top side of the map, that's an easy dragon cleanup for them.
Absolutely. Core does, however, TP and is able to clean up that kill. I play support did pay with his life, but Core able to pick up this wave, able to do a bunch of damage to both these champions. Core doesn't really care too much and is feeling pretty confident right now. He does have a blasting one, does a lot of damage. Yeso and Ramenberry trying to do the dragon right here, but Selmy and Kono are both here. Both do a decent amount of damage at this point in time. The Death Lotus does come out, doesn't really get too much. Ramenberry able to deny it. The killer is do continue to try and take the dragon. Ramenberry is here. He does have smite, and he will get this. Oh my god, he did not have smite. I am a liar, and Selmy steals it with the gleaming quill. That is
smite
really
was on
sad.
cooldown for about 2 seconds. That's unfortunate. I was going to make the comment. I think that they need to just let that reset instead of trying to deal damage. Just take it, so that way Trundle can't smite it away from him. But it looks like Trundle, a little bit over-aggressive, bites the dragon and leaves it 60 HP short. A little damage misprediction done by there. But as I was trying to say about Katarina, I'm assuming what I would believe is she wants the Bouncing Blades to be able to safely farm and to safely push in. That's why I think she's going for that max first.
Makes sense. I agree with the ability to playing safe, not feeling too confident in the lane, especially if you don't know the lane matchup just well enough. So we have that going for them, and it looks like most of Havoc's lanes are out farming, except for in the bot lane. Name Not Found trying to do what he can for Kiss Gaming today.
You're looking at it right now. Name Not Found. That gold lead they have is all on him right now. He had another.
We do have a fight going on in the bot lane. I'm sorry, I had something that was happening in the backside. Selmy did, however, get a good, the quickness coming down, did able to catch out Yeso, and we do have Dazaran catching him out right at the end. I apologize, there was something happening on the side, and I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been.
There's no problem, but that fight is a big fight to stop any more pressure. Like I was saying, though, a lot of the gold lead right now that they have is coming straight from Name Not Found. Every other lane incredibly even, which you'd expect to see in a matchup of a Garen to a Mundo. Can Garen snowball the 2k gold lead he has to start to get the other lanes rolling?
Yes, absolutely. I think Dazaran right now has had so much map presence. He's ganking on repeat and still keeping up in farm with Ramanberry, having great lane presence right now. He's an absolute monster for this team, and Name Not Found able to exploit this. He's just doing very well. They didn't opt for the first tower, decided to go for some vision clearing, and opting to go for mid lane instead, despite the fact that bot is pretty low.
I mean, mid lane is much more pressure to get across all of the map as the lane starts to cave in. And it looks like at this point they're going to get that pretty simply.
Ooh, we do get a good engage on the core. He did rip walk away. Dazaran getting the damage down with the last caress to just completely delete core from the map, and they're just pushing to tier 2 now. Ramanberry and I Play Support are coming in from a flank, but it is pink warded. It is 2 against 4. The bot lane isn't anywhere nearby. Name Not Found did take 2 tower shots into this act. Kono feeling like a madman, going super aggressive. Does get saved by Selmy right now, but still gets Damascene justice by the Play Support. Selmy looking on the backside, still looking. We do have the way of Wheeler Walker going in. He did TP in. He's running it down, trying to see if he can get the I Play Support, but I Play Support is a really tanky, and Mundo doesn't feel that his luck is good enough to dive the tier 2 tower.
Yeah, Mundo should need to be looking top lane right now. Top lane is has a pretty big minion wave coming in there. Overall, you see another fight coming out by Ramanberry.
Yeah, Dazaran does catch him by the red buff. It feels that he can take this fight. Ramanberry able to cancel his auto attack with a pillar and does manage to kill him with a solo kill. That was absolutely amazing by him. Not even having to use the smite right there. Did also get the red buff, which is very good for him, and subjugate the Dazaran to get him that extra damage. He might be out of here alive too. Selmy trying to auto attack him to death. Maybe they feel lucky enough that they can dive this, but I don't think they do. Yeso is here on the backside. He will be able to clear this wave, and there is no sadism for Wheeler Walker, so if he takes too much damage, it'll feel real sad for him.
Again, that's one of the great examples of why I believe Trundle is such a strong champion right now in this league. Trundle is able to live so much longer and so surprisingly tanky, especially when you subjugate him, and he's on his AoE ground, which is called Frozen Dominion. And on top of that, the bite as well, slowing the attack damage, getting all the resets. Ramanberry played that perfectly. Core on the backside as well, taking the tier 1 bot lane.
Dazaran is nearby, maybe looking, but I don't think there's too much that will happen. We do have a lot of people collapsing, but Dazaran does not really want to fight core 1v1 right now. He went in a little early and charmed a little early as well, so there's nothing that can be done there. He just backs off and leaves. I will have to say, though, Ramanberry played that immaculate. He used the pillar to cancel Evelyn's auto attack that would have killed him, and then was able to get an auto Q off, and that completely burst down the last of Evelyn's HP, and the subjugate able to heal him enough.
Yeah, definitely a great way. Ramanberry, as I said, been talking about, played it really well. Great ability to keep himself alive, and then on top of that, to escape, was able to smite the red buff away as well. As we see Garen just here right now dancing, disrespecting Kono.
Absolutely. We do have a 2v1 swap at this point. Selmy does get engaged on by the Grand Entrance. Ramanberry looking for Name Not Found. Core does a lot of damage right now and just completely bursts him out of the fight. Dazaran is on the top side as well, but we do have the quickness trying to kill Core here. Does get the auto attack, but not enough. Did get canceled by the Ramanberry, getting that double kill for his mid laner. Absolutely fantastic play from the two of them, and we do have Dazaran coming in. Ooh, is spotted by a trap. Does walk over a pink board. Yeso feeling a little aggressive right here. The sadism is proc. He does have all this movement speed. Yeso does have the black shield, but he has no mana. The charm coming through, and the last caress to just completely delete Puck from the map. Ooh, but we have I Play Support coming in, and I didn't even see Core TP on the backside, able to just completely burst down the Evelyn, and Core dying to the Death Lotus as well. Kono just going in. This map is going insane. Kono trying to get away, uses his preparation for the movement speed, and Shun post to the blast cone to get away safe. We do, however, have 3 here still for Havoc, and we're looking to get the Rift.
Great team fight there again. There wasn't really much that Yeso and Potluck could do. Potlucent could do. They are caught overextended by the Evelyn, only one person to Black Shield. Puck Black shielded a little bit early. I would have waited to see who Evelyn took the taunt down onto, and then Black shielded the person who got taunted. But she decides to sacrifice herself for the Caitlyn to get away. Caitlyn then using the heal to escape. But luckily for them, Core able to TP on the backside and get the easy cleanup before going down himself.
Absolutely doing as much as he can. Such a mobile champion, able to do great things. We see him engage in the river. A great two-man grand entrance from Selmy, able to get a good kills for Kono and Dazaran on the backside of that. That was really good, and they're going to get the Dragon Flips as well.
At this point, you got to be worried. You got to be building MR. I'm surprised you're going to be a little bit worried here without any really many tanks here. You know, Caston can get pseudo tanky at one point.
He does get quickness on him. He does get charmed by Dazaran. There's double charms over here in this lane court, looking to get the Rift Walk. Does get the Rift Walk away. Will it save him? I don't know. Dazaran does have red buff though, and is able to get the last caress damage down. This Evelyn is doing work on this map right now. We do see I play support opting to Rift Herald immediately to take this tower.
You got to get some pressure back here. Losing a bunch across the map in terms of momentum and win potential, as we see. You gotta get the tower back, gotta get the global gold. But it looks like at this point, I play support might be about to be cowed out again.
Absolutely, and Name Not Found also Name Not Found and Kono going for an aggressive trade in the bot lane, fighting Puckulins and Romberry. Romberry able to kill down Name Not Found with the Subjugate. Romberry opting to 1v2 or opting to just go in aggressively onto Kono. Doesn't care about that Death Lotus. He's so tanky. He does so much damage. Does flash auto chomp. Does get the damage down. Kono does have the ignite down. Romberry Subjugate is gone. Kono opting for the ignite. Does get the auto attack to save it, to kill him. Does use the preparation in the Shimpo to get just out of the way. Yeso doesn't have vision. Can't use his ace in the hole. He doesn't even have it. I'm a liar. Kono does manage to get away. Oh no, and he does get autoed. And oh, Kono opting to go for that little bit of a crazy Shimpo there. Does manage to die. Yeso getting the flash auto attacks down, giving him that kill, which must feel really good at this point in time, getting that bounty gold and also just a kill in general.
One thing must be incredibly alarming here for the team of Havoc. Yeso dealing no damage to the Caitlyn on the ace in the hole. Caitlyn was pretty, Katarina was pretty low at the time for when Caitlyn aced and older and didn't get the kill there. She's decided to rush for IE first without any other items. I wonder if Yeso knows the proper build, or if that is the proper build and I just don't know it.
I was about to ask, how did you feel about that? Because that is not the proper build. He would at least need a Zeal before he finishes the IE at this point in time. With just that IE, he'll have a good amount of like AD, but it won't be. He doesn't have attack speed. He won't have crit chance, so he won't be able to do proper damage in these team fights. He's really hoping to get another 6 minutes before he's able to even show up to a team fight, and that could be really game breaking for them. Kono being such a massive influence on their team, does have an early Janius at this point. It does have a Bilgewater Cutlass. He's building into that Gunblade really soon, and it's going to be really dangerous for him to not be able to pump out the DPS that he wants with attack speed. Yes.
Well, one thing you pointed out, but you failed to really capitalize on, is the new reworked Infinity Edge makes it so that 15% of critical strike damage is converted to true damage. Without any critical strike damage, Yeso is going to be unable to properly capitalize on that statistic and that benefit. So he's really at this point,
and is getting ganked right now. Dazaran able to get the charm down and just completely one-shotting him, and absolutely just gets destroyed. He's just like, I don't like your build either, and here's what you get. Wheeler Walker and Dazaran looking to push down this tower if they can. I think that they have the ability to. Puckulins is the only person here in the top side I don't think can defend this turret. I play support is opting TP to the tier 2 in the middle lane, as Kono, Selmy, and Name Not Found are able to dive core as well and get another kill onto the side of Kiss Gaming.
Yeah. At this point, I would be hoping, as we look to see, I guess he's trying to complete Mermare. Mermare almost completed. Tiers almost stacked at this point. I would be hoping that we're going to see a Abyssal Max coming out of core, because at this point, all your damage right now or your kills right now are subjugated onto AP carries in Evelyn and in Katarina. And the longer this game goes, the more chance you have to get MR and to have that fall off. Unless, of course, Name Not Found can sort of pick it up and get a couple more kills behind his belt.
Absolutely. I do think I like the Rod of Ages here personally. Evelyn's charm being able to just go right through MR for the most part will have a great MR reduction if she gets the max charm down. So I don't think MR is really too big of an issue. Getting more HP is more worthwhile here. I mean, sure, it'll be good against the Kono, but he's able to cancel most of Kono's damage just by using the Null Sphere on him anytime he goes for the Death Lotus, so that's very good for him. So I like the Rod of Ages here because Death is the best CC, let's be honest here.
Well, I have to agree with you that that I agree. I like the second build. I think that's pretty standard, the second build Rod of Ages. However, I do not think the full... if Core can play this correctly, I'll preface it with that. The full taunt onto the Cassidy should never happen, right? Because the moment the heart appears above his head, he should be looking to Astral Shift away and get out of position and make sure you are safe from Evelyn before he's going to be able to capture in. Because at this point, he's level 13. He has 2 points into that ultimate. He should be incredibly slippery to deal with. Plus, with Rod and with the completed Seraph's Embrace, he should be able to deal with it relatively well.
We do have a good engage over here from Havoc, looking to get something in the mid lane. They not found, using the Bork to get away, and Kono trying to body block for him at this point in time. Nothing really comes out of it.
Definitely, at this point, if I am looking to be...
We have a quickness engage, grand entrance onto I play support. That is like a tank, my friend. I don't know if you really wanted that engage. He didn't really care much about any of that damage you just put down on them. He's just healing it back at this point. Core just kills Kono in the jungle. Just solos him out and pushes a big wave into the tier 2 in the bot side.
At this point, I really don't like Garen being in the mid lane right now. You have enough safety here with Morgana, with Trundle, with Caitlyn to be able to 1-3-1 effectively. He needs to start shoving and they need to start executing this 1-3-1.
I absolutely agree. They are looking to get the dragon for this. I play support. Didn't really want to go top lane all by himself, feeling that he probably might get ganked again by Dazaret. I think that him going mid lane was just because they were trying to force that engage going on and really tried to engage on him, but nothing really happened from it. The 1-3-1 I think is a very good strat, but without that tower and where the lane position was, it would have been very, very dangerous for him to go to the top side.
Well, he needs to be able to stay there, because even if he draws 2 people there, that's an easy dragon, as we saw them eventually take. One thing you need to watch out, though, if you didn't get to see, or maybe you didn't have HP, the health points actually onto your screen. The dragon, again, Robinberry mistimes his smite, leaves it up with 6 points, and at this point, with Robinberry and Evelyn both at the same level, with the Baron fight, probably we're close to see it. Does Robinberry be able to hit that clutch smite if they are the ones to initiate onto it and not get it stolen away from him?
Ooh, I did miss that, and that is very sad to see, but I think this game is going to start exploding very, very soon. I believe Yeso is going to have enough gold for his deal very soon and be able to go back. Core looking to get on the solo kill. It's just
He has his Zeal right now whenever he backs, which I'm going to assume he's going to back after the red buff.
Very important. There is the Baron on the field. Will need to be as strong as possible, as this will be a point of contention. Both teams not having great siege potential besides the Caitlyn. Caitlyn having decent siege potential, but is also behind. So it's very hard to siege when the Caitlyn is behind like this. So both teams not having the best away player, hoping to get a good split push going with maybe the Mundo going on. Kono is able to split push, but if he is found by Core or I play support, he's really having a bad time. He can't 1v1 either of them at this point. He really has to kind of force a big play where he can get a good Death Lotus off.
Yeah, it's definitely a big moment coming up. Katarina 2-item spike coming up. We're going to be big in this big fight, especially with the fact that none of their team, besides the Trundle, really has any sort of MR whatsoever. So if she gets a good Death Lotus off, everything's about to pop off.
I play support, doesn't have the MR, but he does have his courage, which gives him so much damage reduction, which is absolutely insane. Trundle does have his Spectre's Cowl now at this point, which is feeling really nice for him. A Core doesn't particularly care. He just uses his Null Sphere and gets a whole bunch of magic damage shield anyways, which is really good for him. We do, however, have the entire team of Kiss looking for this Garen. Garen does walk into the river and just kind of bamboozles them a little bit. He might be out fine, but he has opted not to back just yet. Name not found, did find him, did see him. I don't know if Kiss can catch up to him just yet. Though they're looking, though. Yeso and Puckulence and Romberry are here on the side. Core is in the mid lane as well. Going to push this wave before he comes down.
Definitely. I would definitely be wanting to test Wheeler here. Wheeler split pushing like he's supposed to. They should set up for a couple ganks here, start the Baron, force that teleport out of him with the 5 people of them in potential, the 5 players of Havoc in potential to clear it out.
Kono almost gets completely one-shot by Core. Kono does opt to use the Janya's there, but gets caught out by the binding. I think at this point in time, Havoc is feeling pretty good about that, getting a lot of their team fight damage down. Dazaran has to get a pick to really be effective right now. He can't really go into the middle of 4 and try and kill someone. That just won't happen. He's playing Evelyn. He will get immediately CC'd and just walk
That was their opportunity right there. Yeso hesitating before laying those Euro snap traps down.
Is on the side, does get over there. Dazaran gets a flash charm onto Yeso, completely bursts him down with the last caress. The quickness coming down, giving a whole bunch of damage, fighting inside of this Baron pit into Evelyn's giant AoE damage is insane. Core is here, he is very low. Ramberry is also very low. I play support, does get the teleport in, gets a good silence down, tries to spin on them, but Wheeler Walker is also here. Demacian Justice does kill Selmy as name not found, betrays his own teammate. I play support, thinks that he can thinks that he can fight Wheeler Walker at this point, but Wheeler Walker does so much damage. He's got so much HP. He'll run you down. You do not have enough damage at this point in time. You have Asterix and Black Cleaver, but he does a lot of auto attack damage with his E-Max at this point. Name Knockdown is also here. He has the fort coming in hot and doing a lot of auto attack damage, but Core just completely destroys him in the fight in the backside, and because of all of the CC and the subjugate coming down, it looks like Wheeler Walker does pay with his life for being too aggressive.
Yes, big thing here, and I have to stress this enough. I know you disagree with me on this, but this is a very important thing. After they got the pick onto the Katarina, Garen, instead of walking up with the rest of the team to Baron, decides to split and take the bot turn and start shoving it back out. That is not the right... I do not believe that is the right play there. Garen needs to come with them to Baron. It doesn't matter if they don't... If Mundo doesn't keep pushing, because at some point he's going to have to take the...
Ooh, and we do have Core just completely deleting Kono. I missed it. I blinked for a second. He just fly off the map. So Core at this point in time is now his level 16 spike.
Now the same situation all over again. Can they go take the Baron properly this time? Garen in the bot lane without a teleport and the lane pushing into him. I'm really not satisfied with this, Boslow. Gonna be a 4v4 anyway coming up when the next fight begins.
I agree. I play support is your tank at this point in time. You need to sit there and be able to tank Baron debuff so that this way your team doesn't get absolutely shredded, especially when Dazaran walks in the pit and does so much damage, but he gets completely bursted and caught out. Core opting to try and go for the kill on name not found, but Ace in the hole does get the final blow. It is really good for him. Core trading his life for that kill. Absolutely fantastic things. Havoc over here. Now 3v2 at this point in time. Kono trying to go down to the bot lane, answer that wave, but I don't think that there's much of anything that Mundo and Selmy can do if they just want to do this Baron, but it looks like they're just deciding to zone, go for the kills. They got the subject down on Wheeler Walker. We do have Yeso going down and getting all these auto attacks going. Pucklins gets a good binding off on the side. Wheeler Walker with his sadism proc and just runs away. Mundo goes as he pleases, doesn't care about your damage. Gets a good flash out to save his life. Selmy not able to help him at that point.
Another, as much as I try not to be too critical, Havoc having commitment issues with this Baron that is getting kind of outrageous. 3v2, they have no need to actually even care, seeing how it was just Wheeler and Selmy. If they walk in, you kill them. Just take the Baron. Instead, they don't know what they want to do. It seems like there's miscommunications going on. Ramenberry starting it, and
another pause in just a second. It looks like Core DC. There it is. There's the pause coming out. I don't know. Core had an issue right there. Really sad to see, but I have to agree with you. Like these issues, you need to be able to make these decisive calls as soon as you have that point in time. You get that catch, you just go for it. They got even another catch as well on name not found as well, and Dazaran also died, so there was 3 people dead. Just Wheelwalker and Selmy. Kono was coming up very soon, but opted to go bot lane, and we had vision of that. So it's very sad to see that they decided to stall on the Baron and saw Wheeler Walker and got a little greedy, feeling like they could get another kill. But if you go for that kill, you can't take the Baron anymore, because Kono will be able to roam back up there, and if you Death Lotus is in that tiny pit, you'll have a very sad time. Yeah,
definitely a big issue here. We're looking at what it is as he gets reconnected into the game. Caitlyn, about to spike, has 2.3 thousand gold in the bank. All of them looking pretty fat in terms of the spiking of what they have. Definitely coming through with a big thing. And most importantly, Garen finally starting to build. MR is going to become harder and harder to kill for Kono and for Dazaran, the 2 carries on this team at this point in time.
He's going to become an absolute mid and late game monster. He'll be so hard to kill, but he won't do as much damage as the teammate. Like at this point in time, he'll pretty much just be a silence bot as the game goes on and just a body blocker machine. as they'll try to body block Dazaran's damage and hope to silence Kono as he goes for the Death Lotus inside of the team. Ooh, we do have Kiss going for the decisive call here, something that Havoc's been failing to do. Goes immediately for the Baron as they see them on the Dragon. They blocked over a bunch of wards, and now here they are. They're starting it right now. It's 6k HP, Core and I play supporter walking in. Wheeler Walker is getting a good zone down. Core immediately bursting down Kono, completely deleting from the game. Doing the culling down on the Core. Not able to do too much to get the silence onto the Baron. There's so much damage coming out from Havoc at this point that Wheeler Walker's the only one alive. Romberry does get the spike down on the Baron. Wheeler Walker pays with his life for trying to go for that 1v4, maybe try and get the Baron, but I think that's game for Havoc at this point in time.
It is definitely game, and I have to make this analogy. When you have a girl you really like, you need to commit to her before she starts to get stolen away here. At this point in time, Havoc having commitment issues with the Baron. The Kiss Gaming tries the last second steal attempt, almost has it, just doesn't have enough damage to burn it down. If those were 2 Earth Drakes instead of 2 Earthen Drakes that they had taken, they would have definitely been able to take it at that point and get out scot-free. But now they lose the game because Havoc comes in and says, "No, this is my girl," puts a ring on it, and takes the game home.
I don't know if they'll be able to end just yet, but also a big issue I think right there. We can talk about name not bounds if this fight doesn't break out, but it looks like it is a Pillar coming down onto Kono, stopping him from going anywhere. Selmy trying to save Kono's life does get caught, does get burnt down. I place support and Puckulins. There's so much damage coming down here. They can just burn down these barrels. Okay, so still only having a Zeal item and IE. There's lots of damage coming out. Last Crest not able to get a kill down. I place support going for the silences again. Does spin to win right on top of Wheeler Walker's corpse. And we do have Core just completely murdering everybody at this point in time. His cast and then doing lots of damage. Opts for another kill. Does not get it. Dazaran just barely surviving. A good game, Havoc.
Good game, Havoc from there. A little bit sloppy. A lot to improve on by the new team. I guess the second newest team now, right? We have Dota's Demons in the league. The second newest team coming out, playing a little bit sloppy, but showing if their lanes can get ahead with Core, with Romberry in their roster, they are definitely a team that could make some noise coming into playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And first and foremost, I'd like to Kiss actually finding a breath of life, actually doing something with their team, getting a good, decent early game for themselves, actually able to kind of do some things. Their pick and ban phase seemed to be an issue for them as they did get counter picks in 2 of their 3 lanes, their bot lane having their counter pick there and proceeding to try and do what they can, but not able to snowball it into a victory for them. But with Dazaran doing so much great things on that map, absolutely fantastic to see, but well done, Havoc.
Yes, well done, Havoc, indeed. Definitely a little bit. It looked as they get more comfortable with it. Hopefully that those split push, those 1-3-1 comps, I think they definitely like it. Core especially showing he can play these champions that you can either put in the side lane and just, I'm going to be a problem. You're going to dedicate 2 or 3 people to me, or I'm going to stay in the mid lane and you're not going to you're not going to push anything because I'm going to play the bird lady and she ain't going to let you move.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at the stats now, looking at the damage dealt to champions and Core being an absolute monster on this cast. 38,000 or 37,000 damage in 32.5-minute game. That's more than 1,000 damage per minute.
A lot of that came though from, as I'm looking at their items, the team of Kiss as Havoc started to optimize getting MR to deal with Kono and Dazaran. The team of Kiss never really optimized to get any sort of MR on any of their champions. When you're looking at it, you just had Zeke's conversion on Selmy and a Spirit Visage on Wheeler. You need the MR to deal with it. That's where all that damage came from, as we saw 2 or 3 times, actually 2 times in 2 consecutive fights. Kono just walking, just basically underneath their mid turret. Cassidy just rift walking into him, hitting his stun, Lichbane auto attack, and then he was dead. That's where all that damage came from. The lack of MR from Kiss Gaming coming out.
Mm-hmm. Lots of AoE damage that comes out in the late game from that champion. An absolute fun to watch, I believe. Great to cast. And I think on the other side, Name Not Found trying to do as much damage as he could, but I felt like he could have done a little bit more damage. I think his build this game was a little suboptimal. Did go for a second item, IE, after the Bork. I feel is a little strange.
Yeah, IE after the Bork. A little bit of a weird item path there. IE on both these champions, I don't think comes out right at the right time. Usually what I've seen now from a lot of high elo people doing and a lot of my friends that play AD carry is usually the 3rd item that they buy if they're gonna buy it, because unless you're Draven, right? And then Draven, you just buy like 100 BF swords, and it works that way. But in the for these two champions specifically, they like itemized a little bit wrong, I would say. Yeah, Yeso never actually finishing the static shiv that he was building, which he could have. I'm not going to be like, oh, he didn't have enough gold. He definitely could have. I think he entered the game with around like 3.6k gold, and just never backed after they took the after the pause where he did definitely have enough to finish the static shiv. And then the name not found definitely could have probably used something like a static item, another attack speed item, maybe a phantom dancer even to get those autos out and to basically be able to manipulate Lucian a little bit better and safer in fights.
Absolutely, and I think at this point in time we can talk about the vision score, because as both players here are support players, I think we love talking about wards and vision, don't we?
Yeah, we definitely do. Coming out, Rakan, even on the losing side, having a great score of 72. And then on top of that, Wheeler having the 61. What I want to give a big shout out to, though, and this may come off as wrong and a little bit toxic, so I want to apologize in advance if this does. Wheeler, though, having a very respectable with his rest of his team 25. When you think of one of the big things when I was learning the game and I was in that low silver bronze area of the ladder, is a lot of people don't ward. Wheeler doing a definite good job of warding, even though he unfortunately is the one that we have to talk about today. No control wards purchased by him.
Yes, it's an absolute shame to see, but does have a decent vision score despite not really going too much into the enemy jungle or anything like that, not placing too many aggressive wards, I thought, but he was still able to get good vision score, still has a great amount of wards placed, really good on him to get that vision and trying to be safe inside of his lanes. Dazarin able to come around to his lane and help him out a lot because of his vision control being very useful for him. It seems that, and then just all around, Havoc's having really good vision control by themselves, getting good control wards down, getting a nice even amount and able to get good vision for themselves, which is very, very good for that team.
Yeah, it definitely is. Moving forward, though, I think that you could. I hope personally, as a fan of this, as a fan of Havoc, as a fan of Yeso, who is the captain, and starting to become a fan of Robinberry and Core, I definitely think coming forward, this 1-3-1 is something the league has to watch out for if they can get a little bit more practice on it from iPlay support executing it properly.
Core being an absolute monster for this team. His mid lane so far is being phenomenal. His casting was really good. It was a great counter pick there. Didn't opt for his Nivea, which is obviously very scary as well. That's really, really good time playing those champions, but oof. It'll be scarier and scarier indeed as they get more and more of their synergy going. Robinberry having a great early game as well.
Yeah, definitely it was Robinberry. I don't understand at this point, and maybe I'm just the color caster who gets really like get off my lawn. At this point, why are people just not banning Trundle? Like Trundle needs to be permabanned at this point. Trundle, wherever it's played, is always having an impact on whatever team they play it on, is what I feel like when I've casted my games and they pick the Trundle for me.
The only thing that really stinks is that with the Trundle, you only have especially if you pick one front line. If you have two, it becomes harder for him to subjugate someone, and he can get CC locked real bad. But not something we've seen a lot of. And I think at this point in time, we're gonna get ready to go to our pause and then be ready for our next game of Lobster Gang versus Conqueror, and that'll be a fun game to watch as well. I will not be casting; it will be our good friends Blaze and Manwalrus to cast this next game.
Yeah, definitely a great opportunity. Another game. That's probably why I kept saying Lobster Gang at the beginning of the stream. Thank you so much for watching in. I believe this is my last game as well. Voslo is here for one more game at the end of the shift. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and remember to like our Twitter or like our content if you like our content. Follow us on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. Come join our Discord. Come subscribe if you really like it. All the support goes back. We put back into the product that we produce here. Thank you so much, and we will see you shortly.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dewey Sports Week 5, Day 4 matchup. Here we're going to have one and only Lobster Gang Esports against Conquer Academy here. Joining me on the broadcast is none other than...
Man Walrus.
So, Man Walrus, how are we feeling tonight? Lobster Gang Esports, the 3rd seed from Group A, versus the number 1 seed from Group A.
If Lobster were to win, this would definitely be the match to do it because despite Conquer Academy, they're 6-1, I believe. They're looking pretty strong, but they are running 2 subs. Their bot lane has been is 2 different people from what's on their starting roster. So Bear Cakes and Jester Time are out. King Caveman and Small Boss 98 are in. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and Small Boss 98, that is first performance on stage here, but King Caveman, this is his first indeed, and we'll see how it plays out for Conquer. I suspect that the Soul Lanes will do pretty good this game as we see a couple of the bans starting to roll down. We got the Alawi away from Rutledge, a pretty common ban.
Yeah, they're target banning them for sure. Because Gimpy also has I think he has 340 or 350 Vi games in solo queue this season. And I believe Phoenix plays a good amount of Swain. I think he played it last week. So as to where they looks like Conquerors opted for some more general meta bans like the Morgana and the Yasuo. Feels weird to say that about Yasuo, but it looks like they're targeting they're going from a more general perspective, and Lobster's targeting more people specifically. Top side.
Does seem to be the case, and very interestingly enough, Ezreal, Lucian, Kaisa all open, which is the first pick Xayah on side Lobsters.
So what this could be actually is a comp from Lobster Gaming that I saw them play earlier today in a practice game they ran. I believe it was I wrote it down. It is they ran Ornn, Zac, Yasuo, Xayah, Rakan. So they're gonna have to sub out that Yasuo, but it looks like that practice game was definitely it's what they were looking to pick this time around, so far at least, based off just the Xayah.
Well, we'll see if that comp works well without the Yasuo. It sounds like a core identity in the composition itself. On the side of Conqueror, though, the Braum for Small Boss on the support role, and Rutledge will possibly, this is a flex pick that we've seen Conqueror use before, could be top lane, Rutledge could be mid lane for Phoenix.
Yeah. Could even be bot lane. I have no idea what King Caveman's champ pool is. But yeah. Rakan picked up as expected. We'll see if they opt for their mid laner or they wait. I would imagine if they're going for that comp, they would just take the Ornn here because it's a pretty safe blind pick. But even if you flex that Vlad, Ornn can survive against pretty much anyone. But we'll see what they go with. It's Mal's.
Malzahar, okay. So it seems like it's straying a little bit away from the composition that you might have had a potential foreshadowing of. Malzahar, also not the most common pickup in the mid lane. How do we feel?
I don't think Malzahar is bad. I think he's actually kind of a sleeper pick in this meta because he's good at locking down one person, and he's pretty good laner. He doesn't really die easily. He's kind of tanky for a mage, but he can still output some decently consistent damage with his space aids. And I don't actually know what it's called. Yeah, he's actually, I think he's actually pretty strong pick if you know how to play him. So we'll see.
That indeed we will. So far, Conquer looking at a pretty good team composition of themselves. Ezreal Braum in the bottom lane, not bad whatsoever. Versus the Xayah Rakan, though, could be a little bit of a sticky situation to come through.
Yeah, the Malzahar pick's actually pretty good in what they've shown so far too, because that Malz ult, that obviously doesn't get blocked by Braum shield, right? It's point and click. And then, let's say maybe you're trying to focus down that Vlad. Well, you can just ult him so he can't pull. Same thing with that Ezreal, another very slippery champion. Malz, if he gets in range with a good flash R, he could, if he's protected correctly, he could potentially lock him down. So
Absolutely.
It looks like a smart move.
Does look like a smart move, but what doesn't look like a smart move is Conquer letting Rutledge get banned out here and even continuing to ban top lane champions as well. We've seen Rutledge on the Illaoi, we've seen him on the Cloud, we've seen him on the Vlad, and if that Vlad is going to get flexed into the mid lane, that could be very dangerous for them. As
I would
Rutledge
say
not on a playmaking champion.
maybe take Aurelia, because I believe he's played Aurelia before. I'm not sure how it is into the Vlad, actually, to be perfectly honest. But I think Aurelia is really strong right now, and I think it would probably work with that comp, but we'll see. It also could potentially, if there's a really terrible matchup for Malzahar, you might maybe even flex it mid, but I don't know. Tryndamere kind of throws a wrench into that prediction, because that is a interesting choice.
Very interesting choice indeed. Not sure what to make of it. Tryndamere is probably the definition of a solo queue champion. This is by no means solo queue. We'll see how he fits into whatever comp Conqueror running so far, because there's no way that isn't going in the top lane.
Yeah, I have not much faith in Tryndamere in 5, so I think he's really focused on doing one thing, and against an organized team, they can easily shut him down. Obviously, it all depends on execution. You mess up a couple times versus Tryndamere, he could still run away with the game, but it's much harder. Especially when you got someone like a Malzahar that can just ult him if he really becomes a problem.
You also have the Subjugate, which there's still that damage over time of that, so you have 2 damage over time abilities, and you're picking Tryndamere. Very bold move out of Conqueror.
I'm really worried for Conqueror, because their team is really squishy outside of this Braum, and they have obviously the Tryndamere ult to keep him alive. There's so much, not only damage from the side of Lobster Gang, but there's a lot of tankiness. They have a lot of engage as well. They could even as well disengage, but I think they're probably better off trying to engage on this team. They have the Rakan engage, they have the Malzahar click, they have Trundle Pillar to help out, they've got a Jarvan. Like, they're loaded with engage damage on this time, so it looks to me as if Lobster Gaming won this draft.
I agree with you 100%. I think that agreeing with you on your points between the Rakan, the Jarvan, the counter damage over time against the Tryndamere. I'm not entirely sure about the Xayah, but I mean, Xayah, Rakan, both champions naturally synergize with each other. It's literally what they were meant for. I think that a lot of pressure is going to be on Phoenix and Gimpy in this game. With Rutledge presumably on an off champion, you have Gimpy. We haven't seen him on the Kayn yet. We haven't seen him on the more assassin-esque junglers. So I think that mainly players to keep your eye on can be Gimpy and Phoenix.
Yeah, and also I think the Xayah is actually pretty good too. We saw in the EULCS they actually ran a funnel comp with Perks running Xayah mid with a Rakan like support jungle. It was really weird, but it worked really well. I think if she gets her items, it's obviously slower than before, but I think she's still a threat. And also she has a lot of self-peel and CC for to deal with this Kayn, Tryndamere, Vlad trying to dive her all the time. So I think, especially with the Rakan synergy, I think probably one of the best possible picks here. Besides maybe like a Lucian, but he's kind of short range. So
a little on the short range side. Something I do want to pick your ear about here, the Kayn lock-in for Gimpy. So Juani got taken away, it wasn't picked in the first set of the pick parts. How do we feel about Gimpy being on less of a Gimpy-esque champion, not really a tank jungler at all?
Well, I'm worried more, rather than the fact that it's against his playstyle, I'm kind of worried that he's playing Kayn to begin with. I don't think he's a great champion or a great pick in the jungle right now. I think if he doesn't get ahead, he will become useless way quicker than most other champions. Because if you look at the side of Lobster Gaming, for example, they have a lot of champions that's like, even if they get behind, they could still get back into the game. Everyone on that team has some form of CC, as to where, while you're on, if you look at Conquer Academy, like, what does Ezreal do if he gets behind? What does Vlad do if he gets behind? What does Tryndamere and Kayn do if they get behind? Well, Vlad's actually okay from behind, but the other ones, the Ezreal, Kayn, Tryndamere, they need to snowball this game and get it snowballed fast and end early, or else they're going to get outscaled and lose.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, I'm looking at that exact weakness. And I think on the side of Lobsters, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Akihiko, I think he'll be playing the top lane a couple of visits.
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure that Tryndamere gets shut down pretty effectively, and I think Trundle is a good champion for that, because Tryndamere wants to chase you down, you just throw a pillar up, and you know he can spin through it, but that's his one dash. So there's also an Igniteless Tryndamere, which makes sense for 5s, but also his kill potential on that Jarvan is actually not too high unless Train Game messes up massively. He can always EQ out of there if he really needs to, though.
Yeah, exactly, and you have to consider how the top lane game is going to be. So there's a lot of displacements. You have Jarvan, the combo, the flag and drag, and you have the pillar. So if we're talking a standard situation where Tryndamere is pushing in on towards the Trundle, it's a very easy gank on the side of Lobsters.
Yeah, if I were Train Game in this situation, I would just play it safe, really, and wait for ganks. In fact, it's probably in his best interest to let Tryndamere push him in, assuming that their jungler will come top lane and gank him, which should be wise, because if you shut that Tryndamere down, it's going to be real hard for him to do anything. I think that's priority number 1 for them. Although Gimpy has potential to turn around 2v2s, because Kane's counter ganks are pretty strong. Not so much early, but if he gets an item, he's probably pretty strong.
Absolutely the case. Now we hop right into loading screen. For the most part, hovering down all of the runes, it doesn't look like anything too out of the ordinary is here. Anything catch your eye?
Well, it looks like he's going for a tankier Jarvan build than a more damagey one, which makes sense given, you know, the rest of his comp. I think he wants to try and help frontline and engage. I know a lot of jungle Jarvans run Electrocute, but I think that the Grasp of the Undying is fine, but it just kind of signifies, well, he's not going to be too damage oriented this game. Other than that,
yeah.
It also looks like Rakan's looking to play more offensive than defensive, because he opted for Area instead of Guardian.
Yes, as we are 30 seconds into the game, the basic 5-point spread out of both teams. Wouldn't be a bad idea on the side of Conquer to invade, but intelligent 5-point spread, kind of. I would have put the Trundle in the mid lane a little bit more so they don't know where he's starting, but nonetheless, it is still a defensive start from both sides.
Yeah, despite the Braum, I actually don't think that Conquer win a level 1 fight with a lot of people, just based off the one spell like damage that the people on Lobster Gang have. I think despite that Braum, I think that they would probably still do well, and I think that Conquer know that, and I don't think they're gonna try anything. Well, they're obviously not gonna try anything, but I think that's why.
Yeah.
Jarvan's passive is pretty good at level 1.
Sounds like a solid option. That is indeed a strong passive. Very much overlooked in Jarvan's kit, but a very good reason for his burst damage in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking to see how the junglers path, because if they meet up, I'm pretty sure that Trundle will win that fight against Kane, because Trundle does not lose to many people in the jungle in terms of straight up duels. So, you know, maybe he could go look to fight for that first Scuttle Crab, because they're both going to be on that side of the map at the same time.
Yeah, mirroring each other's position right now, it would be a pretty scary 1v1 for Gimpy if it were to happen, and we see that
it looks like Gimpy... Sorry. Looks like Gimpy's going right for that Scuttle Crab early, and Akiho's opted for his blue buff first.
Yeah, and not a bad move by Gimpy. He's at a bit of a health deficit in comparison to Akihiko now, who's also at a mana deficit in comparison to Gimpy. So Gimpy able to get the Scuttle Crab early on, doesn't have to have that risky engage with the Trundle.
Yeah. Yeah, that was obviously a risk going for the Scuttle Crab when Trundle could have also gone for Scuttle Crab, but it paid off. So, good move for Gimpy. He set himself ahead, because especially if he caught a glimpse of Akio when he went into the jungle, because I don't think he did, but if he did, he could have just ran right to the bot side Scuttle Crab and took that too, which would have set Trundle pretty far behind. But instead, he's opted for wolves. So
Yeah,
yeah,
not bad. We can
Yeah.
still go for the bottom side of Scuttle Crab if he wants to. And also something I very much like to see already on the side of Conquerors. They have a very nice line of vision wards on the top half of the map. They have the Scuttle Crab and 2 other wards in the river.
Yep. If there was a way to stop those trundle ganks, that's definitely one of them. You'll see him coming from a mile away up the river. So yeah, and also currently as well, train game, as was expected by Tryndamere, kind of gets pushed around early game 1v1. So yeah, if you let the Tryndamere go unchecked, he will get big, but it really is on Lobster Game to shut him down.
Yep, or at the very least go even train game already at the CS differential that we've expected, but doesn't want to give up a kill to add on to that goal that Tryndamere might have.
Yeah, it's always better to just lose CS instead of die. And like if you play risky for it and die to Tryndamere, you're never gonna get back in that lane. Ooh, nice engage there.
Some good damage
Ooh.
on a small boss, actually forcing the flash out of him.
Flash coming out.
Give or take on how much that was needed, but that is still a big win for Lobsters.
I think he didn't want to get ignited by Rakan. I believe that's why he flashed. But yeah, I didn't think it was that necessary. I'm a little skeptical about small bosses taking exhaust this game, which is unfortunate because I love exhaust. It's I love it way more than ignite bot lane, but it is so weak right now. They nerfed it into the ground, and there's no one on the side of Lobster that's like that really needs to be exhausted, like a Zed, for example. It's like, who are you gonna exhaust in that team? Like Malzahar? It's it'd be much better to ignite, to take ignite for lane pressure, because now like Gamer can basically, oh, hang on, by top lane.
While we're at it, the flash away from Rutledge. Neither of them level 6 just yet. Train game getting a bit of an advantage up in the top lane. Looks like he's calling Gimpy over. They might go for a dive, or Gimpy might just back off.
Yeah, I don't think so. That was, I don't know why he went in there, but
Scaring all of us.
Good trade for Train Game. He got that flash out. That's way more than anything else. So hopefully Rutledge decides to play back now that his flash is down, but it actually doesn't look so far like Trundle has been focusing on the top side like we expected he would. He's kind of just walking around clearing camps, which, you know, that's what Trundle does best, but he should try and at least get a gank off on this Tryndamere, but unfortunately Tryndamere's already level 6, so it seems like that time to shut him down early is past. It's like, sure, his flash is down, but he's up 52 to 26 at CS down there.
Yep, already doubling the side onto Train Game. Very rough stuff, and as you said, better to just lose out on the CS, but when you're losing on this much CS, and Gimpy's coming around the corner, could get very scary for the Jarvan.
Yeah, well, actually, they do have Kayn ult and Trend ult, so this actually is a diveable Jarvan. Usually Jarvan is pretty safe from tower dives, but they've got a lot to juggle, not only juggle tower aggro, but just tank it forever with that Tryndamere ult.
Yeah, definitely use Kayn ulti with the Umbral Trust Brass, can soak a little bit of it up, and then Tryndamere also able to tank it up with that Undying Rage. Lasts, importantly, 5 seconds, if memory serves me correctly. We have a pause.
Yeah. See, the way for Train Game now play that dive would be to wait for the Kayn and the Tryndamere to go in on him, then ult them under tower, and then flash out of it. That's the way you do it as Jarvan, especially because that's a flashless Tryndamere. You would at least get his ult out. Kayn would also probably back off because he would want to fight you without Tryndamere. So there's definitely a clear way for Train Game now to play that dive, but if I were him, I still wouldn't take my chances.
Yeah, I definitely would second that notion, and 6, almost 7 minutes into the game so far. Very calm, not too much action happening. Only flash that's really been burned with small bosses, a little bit out of panic, something out of Rutledge as well, but very calm game so far. Where do we think First Blood's going to go?
I think First Blood will probably happen around this Infernal Drake, because I feel like that is a Drake that both of these teams really want. So either one of them is going to pick a fight win it and take dragon, or they're gonna try and sneak dragon and get found by someone else, and madness will ensue. Basically, it seems like as well. If you're Lobster Gaming, you want that fight down there because currently basically almost all of the gold lead for Conqueror. Great, they're up like 600 gold, 6 minutes. Most of that is on that farm advantage top lane with the Tryndamere. So right now you don't want to fight up top. You want to fight bot lane for that thing. Make Tryndamere TP in because he's not the best teleport champion. He kind of can get just locked down instantly. But yeah, I think Infernal Drake's where it's going to happen, if anywhere.
Sounds like a solid spot. Roughly, if you had to give me a time, and if your crystal ball is looking really clear on this one, roughly when do you think the team's going to start dancing around that dragon?
An exact time? Probably when both the junglers get their upgraded smite items, I would imagine. And also when, whatchamacallit, maybe the ADCs are towards their first items. I don't think they'll do it immediately because actually, Waasien hasn't actually backed yet. They're probably gonna back in a minute, but he's actually still sitting on that Doran's Blade, which is good. I mean, he hasn't really been pressured that much, but a big thing actually sometimes that low elo ADCs do that costs them is if they're in that comfortable lane like that, they just stay in the lane forever, and then the enemy, like, let's say they maybe back twice, and then they have an item lead, and then suddenly, oh, they're not stronger anymore, and then they die. So,
yeah.
Good on them to back. Get that BS sword. Control wards on the ADC, I like it.
Very good stuff, and that 2,300 gold on Wasp spent wisely with BF, the control ward, and the boots as well. That's going to help Zaya out massively in this laning phase. Blue buff gets handed over to Gluten Gains.
Yeah, that's good for him, and then this Vlad, because he can just spam E forever, which is pretty good now, and Q. So, alright, forcing the Ezreal E out.
Forces the Arcane Shift, takes a little bit of poke damage on the return. Not too much on the side of Gamer to worry about, though.
Yeah, that wasn't really much for either team to worry about, really. Gamer will just heal that back up with his Q and some regen. It didn't really cause that big of a deal. The thing is, now it looks like Conqueror looking to establish vision in the river to try and possibly take this thing, although they're looking for a dive.
They're looking for a dive. We talked about it a couple of minutes ago. Looks like they're finally about to do it, waiting for Rutledge to push in the wave.
No, I think, he's trying to clear that ward. So they were a little bit dissuaded because Train Game had that ward there. So they think, hey, maybe, someone's coming up to deal with that. So those wards in the river now that Lobster Gaming are going to clear out because they saw Gimpy up there. They were more to dissuade Lobster Gaming from taking Dragon than anything else. Now they're just fighting for Scuttle Crab, which I actually don't know how many Scuttle Crabs Turtles has actually even got in this game. Oh, engage!
Not too many. There's the engage coming at a Gamer, looking for with the quickness. Loon Gains around the corner. Can he lock down his target? Gimpy's gone with the Albatross Press, but that might just cost him first blood. Lockdown, take it out for first blood.
Yeah, meanwhile, top lane, Rutledge taking tower damage again. And that should be Infernal Drake going over to Lobster Gaming. That's exactly what they wanted. A fight set Kane behind and grab Infernal Drake. So
yeah, absolutely good stuff coming out of the Lobsters. First blood plus Infernal. Couldn't feel any better in the early game. Pre-10 minutes.
Yep. And Glutes Gains actually redeemed himself there for the flash, and yeah, I don't know if you caught that, but he flashed and actually wasn't in range of his ult. But yeah, he prevented that Kane from escaping eventually, so it was all for the best. Oh, Vlad's looking to go in.
Looking to go in. There's the Hemo.
I don't think he can do this.
A lot of damage. It doesn't look like he can handle it, though. Has to use the Sanguine Pool defensively. Getting hit by the Silence. The Space Hate's taking him down, and Phoenix will be able to get away, but it's at the cost of massive HP.
Yeah, so Phoenix thinks, hey, I'm going to win this fight. He doesn't have his ult. Pause again. But yeah, no, his process there was, oh, Mal's ult's down. I can go in and I can fight him. Problem is, I think that Phoenix, since Malzahar's been kind of out of the meta for a while, I don't think he's familiar with this matchup of Vlad into Mal's, but basically Mal's can just kind of walk away from Vlad and EM and silence him, and Vlad isn't really that threatening to him, even without his ult, as long as they're pretty even. And Glucane's actually kind of ahead, 10 CS to 2. So Phoenix bites off more than they can chew, costs him big time actually.
Yeah, definitely the case, and so far, so good for Lobsters, with the exception of the top lane. All of their laners are doing good in farm, and even in the top lane, the deficit, well, actually, no, I can't say it's not big. It's pretty big. Off
It's
the farm,
like 40, yeah, it's 45, 44. It's like huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Thing is, it's like Train Game, he's doing what he needs to do. His tower's still there. He's trading pretty well when Rutledge decides to auto him under tower. He's forcing him away, so the Tryndamere can't just bully him under his own tower, which is, yet at least, which is good. So he's doing his best, and it could be, I've seen bigger CS disadvantages versus Tryndamere, so.
Yeah, not bad at all, and especially considering that if you're the Tryndamere, if you can't kill your laner, you're looking to get damage on the turret. 10 minutes in, turret's barely down to half HP.
Yeah. Although, yeah, and then in the same vein, actually, there's a lot of damage on the tower. Mid lane, I hate how you can't move spectator the camera when the thing's paused. That's really annoying. I would like to have gone mid lane, because there's actually some damage done to that tower too from Glucanes, and now he's forced the Vlad out. So what that's going to do now is that's going to force probably Phoenix's teleport to get back to that mid lane to prevent that from dying, although if he gets back to the game, he's DC. But what that's going to mean is, in a few short seconds, assuming Phoenix teleports back out to that turret to prevent it from going down, which is the smart move, that's going to mean that Lobster Gaming have 2 teleports to 0. So they should look with that then to force a play in a lane somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. They should be able to do that, and the advantage in the mid lane going to do Lobsters a lot of good so far. And while it's only been a kill so far, now's a hard pickup. We question it a little bit. It's looking very good so far against the Kayn, and definitely will do well against the Tryndamere.
Yeah, it's an unorthodox pick for sure, but it's actually pretty good into this comp because it's pretty good at surviving and then locking people down, and those are basically what this Conquer Gaming team is. It's a team you want to survive against early and then lock down later. So Malzahar is actually pretty great for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so far, looks like the lockdown's on the side of Lobsters. Let's look at the bottom lane a little bit, though. We haven't talked about it too much ever since the top and mid halves have been very action-packed. Ezreal, Braum, now having a bit of an easier time against Zyra Khan, but what do Conqueror's bottom lane have to do in order to get a bit of a lead here? Do they need to Gimpy gank, or
they need a
just
gank,
Alpha?
which is going to be hard because they have TP disadvantage. Although Kayn can always come through that wall and surprise people, but it's not the safest move, especially with, like I said, it's about to be 2 teleports to 0, and they have 3 control wards there. The river is lit up for Lobster Gaming. Basically, the problem with this is Braum, Ezreal, already a pretty defensive bot lane, but Braum opted for exhaust, which means that they give up basically all lane pressure against the Zyra Khan lane.
And you were touching on that before. If they had the Ignite, do you think there were a couple of opportunities for Small Boss and King Cavman to go in and maybe get a kill?
Yeah, for sure. If especially coming in with the Kayn, because what you want to do in Kayn ganks is burst people down before they can escape. So you're Braum, you flash Q, ignite someone, you get a couple autos on it, they're stunned, they're burning down, their heal's gonna do a lot less, and they're gonna get hopefully caught and killed. So I think that Ignite's good. As much as I love Exhaust as a summoner spell as opposed to Ignite, it is too bad to run right now in 90% of games, probably more.
Nonetheless, let's continue rolling down the board. Trundle, 49 Cs to Gimpy's 60. Akiko 222. Looking alright on the Trundle so far. Hasn't quite made the impact that we've expected of it, though.
Yeah, I mean, jungle CS is misleading. In terms of gold, Gimpy is only like 100-ish gold above him, so it's not actually that huge of a difference, but, he's got an assist. Gimpy's 0-1. I mean, what I would have liked to do was see him gank top pre-6, but that play that they made with the triple wards in the river kind of negated that for a while, but I would have liked to see him hang out topside more, despite that. Maybe find a creative way in.
May be the case. Nonetheless, we finally get out of that pause. I know everyone was holding their breath the whole time. We finally get back right into the action here. And just as the great Manuel was predicted, that mid lane turret getting forced in, there's the teleport. Couldn't have called it any better.
So now hopefully Lobster Gang knows that they are up two TPs to 0 right now. And they try and force something in the lane because they can right now. The enemy team can't respond if they were to pull like 5 people bot lane. Unless they see it coming, obviously way in advance. But it looks like they have better vision control of the river right now than Conqueror. So they got Conqueror in a pretty bad spot right now for a 6-1 team.
That they do, and Lobster's not looking too shaky themselves on the standings now, I believe at 7-5, playing the most games out of a team so far, and
they're here for Rutledge, but he's gonna have to either blow his flash or
we'll see how it plays out. There's the knock-up, there's the damage. Undying Rage does get channeled. Here comes Gimpy to come through. Cataclysm actually ends up missing.
Walk backwards.
Gimpy now with the Umbral Trespass, gonna be able to get out. No, he can't. Akihiko chomps him down.
Alright, Train Game walks backwards. That's always good when you have a cane inside of you. That was a bit of a misplay, obviously. He should have done that flash R sooner, or actually just ulted Trend right away to make sure he couldn't escape, but yeah, whatever. They got a kill on Gimpy. Gimpy is now an 0-2 cane, 12 minutes in the game. It is the worst case scenario for Conqueror right now.
Very much a dire situation. The only thing giving Gimpy even the slightest of advantages over Akihiko is the farm, and that can change very quickly with Trundle having incredible clear speeds and now taking some of Gimpy's own jungle.
And we got another pause. Yeah. It's also good because Train Game's making up this CS differential now, and it's not that huge anymore. It's like he's up like 300 gold now, Rutledge. So it's actually not that huge over Jarvan, and Jarvan actually has way more utility than him. So I think Train Game's in actually a better spot right now. He's actually got the level lead, and yeah, in the jungle now, Akihiko's now up 100 gold. As to where he was down previously, so it's a good play for them. But I'd like to see them now with that pressure top side and those advantages. I'd like to see them back and then come back and try and take Rift Herald.
Yeah, ideally they should. They have the vision line set up on the side of Lobsters. There is a small ward tracking in the very back of the Herald pit for Conqueror, so they would notice if it were to go on.
Train Game has no mana. This is bad for him.
This is pretty bad for him.
He might die if he can't.
He might, but the camera's telling us to go to Phoenix is in all sorts of trouble. He is a tanky Vladimir for sure. Is able to get out of that one just through the sustain.
Yeah. Oh, Rutledge might dive this. Oh, he's out.
Oh, wow. Come on!
That was last second. I can't believe that. Ooh, that was close.
Close.
Very lucky day for Train Game there. That was
indeed. Gets to teleport top lane back for free and is now
greedy back spot. Yeah. But they want what they want to do now is they didn't utilize that TP advantage really anymore. So what they want is this Rift Herald now. I think a lot of teams still haven't realized how absolutely broken Rift Herald is this patch. It's pretty absurd. Although Rutledge is just kind of brute forcing this tower.
Rutledge is completely ignoring Train Game. In fact, he's going to turn on him right afterwards. Gimpy, with his first successful gank to come around the corner, tries to turn around. The Undying Rage will keep him alive, though. Train Game, no way to win this one. He will go down. Akihiko now trying to answer back, but has no way to continue chasing.
Yeah, so now it looks like actually Conqueror's favored maybe now in pressure top lane to pick up that Rift Herald. That thing is so strong. If you have a tower like with any damage on it at all, you're basically guaranteed a tower and then half a second tower's HP. It's really strong.
Wallerwater with towers
Phoenix
and
is
HP.
in between a rock and a hard place.
Phoenix is in between a rock and a dead place as he gets taken out.
It's actually between a Rakan and a hard place, but...
Oh, yes, that too. Nonetheless, Conqueror pick up another turret.
Wait, that's a really bad TP. There's a Malzahar ult there. Alright, never mind. Back up. Okay.
Alright.
Never
So
mind.
Lobsters pick up the mid turret, they pick up a kill on Phoenix. They almost would have been able to go for another turret, I believe. But good
If
stuff
no
coming
one-
out of them.
Yeah, if no one was there, that was a dead Tryndamere with no ult there. I hope he knew he had backup there because that could have cost him dearly. But yeah,
That could have.
paying on the Rift Herald from Conqueror, they definitely want it. It's a wise choice. It's stupidly strong.
Essentially, it
And-
guarantees you a turret. Or
Yeah.
two, depending on how good your push is. If you,
It
let's say that
guarantees
middle
you-
turret.
If you do it even okay, you will get 1.5 towers at least. With
Yeah.
that, it's super strong.
Absolutely ridiculous.
I had
stuff.
I had a play in a Prophecy Cup game once earlier this patch, it was last week, where we started at bot outer tower at 15 minutes and we cracked the inhib with it. It was disgusting. Although
boy.
bot lane fight,
While we're with discussing,
Gimpy did by
Gimpy is
himself.
flashing in here. Umbo Trust Press to come as well. Phoenix is around the corner, but so is Gaines as well, locking him down. It's a fight on both sides of the lane where the Lobsters are coming out on top 4-1 so far.
Yep. That
and
was a
looking for
great ult
more.
by Gaines. He just made sure that Vladimir flank didn't work at all. He just stuffed it completely. And ooh!
Whoa, massive quickness coming on towards Conquer. Lobsters are looking for another kill. Can they get it though? The protocol back into the team. A small boss jumps away with a stand behind. No one more dying just yet, but that's going to be another Infernal on the board for Lobsters.
Gamers played really well this game. He's played that was a good recon engage there. And Train Game is actually doing what he's supposed to there. He's not trying to kill the Tryndamere, he's trying to kill the wave. And that looks to be the second Infernal Drake now for Lobster Gaming. They're in a good spot.
Yeah, they are, and it seems like a little bit of bewilderness on the side of Conquer. They're not quite sure what to do in this
Yeah.
situation right now, as Lobsters doing a good job. The only hope for them, ironically enough, is the Tryndamere just whacking on these turrets.
Yeah, and having your only hope be a Tryndamere is not very comforting because he's very easy to shut down. And honestly, I think at this point, he can't really, like, he's got to get in team fights and get kills at this stage. Like, he can't really do much because you're playing against a Jarvan. Jarvan just EQ the wave, and now you're like, oh, can I 1v1 this tower and Jarvan when I'm 0-0-1, even though I have a 60 CS lead? Signs point to no. Especially once, if Train Game does what he should at least and pick up the Titanic Hydra. Although, Rift Herald's good for forcing the issue. There could be a fight here.
There is going to be a fight here indeed. Rift Herald still below 2,000. In fact, it's going to be going over to one of these teams, but it's not going to have the fight. Is
It
in
went
the
to Kane.
favor of Lobsters. Kane picks it up, but the fight absolutely not going in favor of Conquer.
Yeah,
There's
it's-
another 2 kills.
It's 6-1, so what you do here is you want to fight the enemy team has taken Rift Herald. What you do is you shove all your lanes as hard as possible, basically. So what you try and do is you want to get all 3 lanes pushing, so no matter where they drop that Rift Herald on the map for the next, like, you know, little while, basically, you'll be able to get to it and respond to it before it can charge a tower.
Yeah, and now, even without the Rift Herald, they're still going to nail the
Yeah.
tier 2 mid turret. 18 minutes in.
3k gold lead.
Incredible stuff, and I hate to say it on the side of Conquer, but Lobsters have hit the jackpot. They get in the triple Infernal.
Yep. So yeah, they want those lanes to be pushed now, so Gimpy can't sneak a tower with that Rift Herald.
Yep.
Basically, the goal is to try and get the enemy team to have to pop Rift Herald on their side of the river, so you can get to it in time.
Yeah, a little bit of supportal combat as they
Yeah.
blast cone each other away.
I don't think he bet on the
Um,
Tryndamere being there though.
No, didn't quite. Fortunately, Wah is there to be able to jump away to him, but a little spooky situation on the side of Lobster. Doesn't result in anything against them, though.
Yeah. Conqueror move up to try and disrupt it, but it's too late. They realize that they're gone, and now Gimpy's looking mid, but I don't know what he can really do against Malzahar.
I mean, I'm very concerned for Conquer right now because they only have 1 turret, which is unlike this team completely, and you have to consider what's going to get turret damage. Tryndamere is the only thing that's really gotten on turret so far, but the team's going to have to advance down the mid lane or the bottom lane in order to get damage onto the middle turret, because on its own, Ezreal Vladimir range damage is not going to be enough.
Yeah, because I'm also worried as well, because Kane only really gets like weaker as the game goes on when he's red Kane. Like he eventually just becomes like a drain tank CC bot, as to where like this Zaya will keep getting better. This Malzahar is always really good, and they can just engage on this Ezreal, because Ezreal will become annoying once he gets his man immune for a while, but they have like engage on 4 of the 5 members of Lobster Gang right now, so they might try and fight. Actually, Conqueror is kind of posturing for one, but
They
gonna
might.
play away.
We haven't
catch
seen
Zaya.
the Glacial Fissure to come out just yet. There's the quickness. So much damage out of Lobster. Skimpy goes down immediately, not even able to use the onboard trust press. The
Phoenix
focus
is
on
in.
go, but he will be able to flash away.
Nice Cataclysm.
Now, Cataclysm on 3 members. Lobster Gang Esports are going to absolutely run down Conquer. That's another turret. That's 3 more kills. And that is a definitive lead for the Lobsters.
Yep, definitely. And there's that Malzahar in action. That Kane cannot do anything. He can't stay alive when he's not using his abilities or trying to ult the side of someone. If you just ult him and lock him down, burst him down, he's just going to instantly pop. Even though he's red Kane. And that's a free Baron at 20 minutes.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge.
Unless there's a Miracle Ezreal ult, but he hasn't ulted yet. Yep, there we go.
Impossible steal to come through. It's not gonna happen today, and this couldn't be any better for Lobsters. They get the Baron, they get the turret, they get the kills, and on a silver platter, and 1 minute and 24 seconds will be their 3rd Infernal Dragon.
Yeah. Their only member with the gold lead now is Trindamir's up like 1.4k gold on Jarvan, but at this stage it doesn't matter because Jarvan has survived. He's served his purpose now. Like he's basically cleared waves to keep Trindamir from taking all the towers. Now he just is there for team fights. And yeah, that Rift Herald is basically now it's stalled at the wave. They're just gonna kill it before it can charge.
Yeah, not even anywhere near the turret. Rift Herald is a good job by Gimpy to get it early on, take it away from Lobster to get more turrets, but in the end it doesn't do anything for Conqueror.
Yep. If you've got all the members of your team alive and the enemy uses it on their side of river, they're basically not going to get a tower with it ever unless you're asleep, because you can just walk up to it and kill it almost instantly. Although Gamer's trying to take away this blue buff.
Yeah, a little. It's not
bloodthirsty support
That's the thing.
play.
They've only died once, and that was up in the top lane. Every other member of Lobsters having a perfect game so far, and while the gold lead isn't insurmountable for Conqueror to come back from, it's the objective control that's really looking shaky for them.
Oh, they're looking for a pick on Trundle.
They are, but
although they're getting picked themselves.
Is it to fight a Baron Nashor team? Not wise at all. Conqueror are going to get absolutely decimated in this fight. Phoenix trying to do the best he can from the back line, but it will not mean anything.
Why isn't even in this fight? He's taking towers mid lane.
King Cavman about to go down here, a double for Gamer, and that's about to be an ace for Lobster.
That's the game too, 22 minutes. There's no way. I think they can just end here, I'm pretty sure.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's an ace.
That's an ace. That's game. That is it, actually. And the Lobster Gang Esports taking out the #1 team from Group B here.
That's a statement if I've ever seen one.
It absolutely is. 14-1. A 23-minute sweep for Lobsters. It's not going to matter at all.
They put on a clinic.
Convincing.
That was clean. 23 minutes in, 14 kills to 2, 7 towers to 2, 9k gold lead. Exquisite. They just got the Baron and then they ended within a couple minutes. It was just...
Yeah, they absolutely decimated Conqueror, and sure they had the substitute bottom lane, but that's by no means an excuse for that shaky draft and how just getting out macroed and out every sense of the word by the Lobsters.
Yeah, I mean, despite their 2 subs, that's still no excuse to draft a Kayn and a Tryndamere in 5s. It's not a very good idea because, you know, Tryndamere, he does his one thing, right? And then it's like, okay, cool, but there's 9 other players in the game. Like, he's really not that great in 5s, and this Kayn, if it doesn't get off the ground really easily, he's basically going to be useless, and he's going to be even more useless if you have a Malzahar on the enemy team and you ult him whenever he tries to do anything. They're not exactly easy ganks for this this Kayn either. It's not like he can just. It's not like he's laying against, like, I don't know, like like a Janna. You can just like jump on her. It's like they have a Rakan that can dash away, a Xayah that can like use her E or ult away. You got the spell shield on Mal's, and you got the flag and drag from Jarvan. It was really hard for him to get early pressure, and they just kind of lost for it.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, you can talk about Conqueror's mistakes as much as you want, but this is, as you mentioned, this is a statement out of Lobsters. Looking a little inconsistent. Their score before this, going 1-1, going 2-2 beforehand, but going against the number one team out of Group B is definitely what they need.
Actually, funnily enough, you'd think a lot of that. We said Gamer's doing really well. If you look at the damage charts, he actually out-damaged every single member of Conqueror Academy on Rakan, and his own jungler and AD carry. So that was impressive. Not entirely sure how that happened, but it did.
Yeah, that's a bit of an enigma as to how Rakan does more damage than all of a team.
Yeah, I thought this Tryndamere would have high damage, but actually Jarvan, with the second most in the game. Train Game says, hey, you get this lane, you're Tryndamere, that's cool, but I can actually do other things around the map. So
Yeah.
impressive macro play from Lobster Gang wins them the game.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go down to the vision score to see exactly who won out in that regard. And sitting at number 1, what a surprise! Not really. Gamer with 39 on the board, 5 control boards purchased. Very good stuff.
Yeah, and if you're Conqueror, you're worried. Obviously, it's the sub squad, but it's like when the enemy ADC almost outwards your support, you got some things to address in terms of your vision control. Obviously, Rakan played really well that game, as well as did the rest of Lobster Gaming, though. So I think honestly, Conquer Academy, definitely a very good team. They're 6-1 for a reason, but they definitely need to work on their drafts if they're gonna stay at the top.
Absolutely. And staying at the top is one of the hardest things to do. And I believe that is a solid way to wrap up this game here between Lobster Gang Esports and Conqueror Academy. Maybe KISS actually were playing in this game here. Nonetheless, moving on to the next game, we have an OC Nation hot streak coming out to you. They are playing the next 2 games, and they will be starting off against Naughty Nips, looking very good in some of their games. OC Nation, the second place team out of Group A. Will OC Nation come out high with a victory over Naughty Nips, do what they've done all along, and come out with the W?